Have you ever thought about where Dementors in Harry Potter really came from? What if these terrifying creatures were more than just mindless servants of darkness? In today's video, you'll discover the chilling origins of Dementors, their terrifying power, and their true allegiances. Dementors are among the most nightmarish beings in the wizarding world. Even Death Eaters and Voldemort himself don't inspire the same primal fear as these floating spectres. They drain all happiness from the air, leaving only despair. Strangely enough, they weren't always on the side of darkness. In fact, for most of their history, they served the Ministry of Magic. But how could creatures this sinister ever be trusted by the forces of good? And why did wizards allow them to exist at all? Their origins are shrouded in mystery. The first known reference to Dementors dates back centuries, linked to the dark wizard Residian. He lived in a secluded castle near a wizarding village and used Dementors as his personal guards. But when the village refused his request to marry one of their own, he unleashed these monstrous creatures upon them. It was only through the Patronus charm that the villagers managed to drive them away. Centuries later, in the 15th century, Dementors appeared again, this time tied to the infamous island fortress of Azkaban. No one knows who built it, but by that time it was home to another dark wizard, Ecrizdis. He lured lost sailors to his island and tortured them for his own twisted amusement. Dementors thrived there, feeding on the victims' endless suffering. When Ecrizdis finally died, the Ministry discovered the fortress overrun with Dementors, stronger than ever. Destroying Azkaban was too dangerous. They feared the Dementors' revenge, so they simply left it untouched. How exactly Dementors reproduce remains a mystery. J.K. Rowling herself has offered conflicting explanations. In Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, she mentioned that Dementors multiply in misty weather. However, in an interview, she stated that they don't reproduce at all, but rather grow like fungi in places full of decay and despair. In the 17th century, Minister of Magic Damocles Roll saw an opportunity. Instead of fighting Dementors, he turned them into prison guards. Azkaban became the most feared wizarding prison, guarded by creatures that thrived on human suffering. Over the years, Dementors weren't just used for Azkaban, they were deployed to protect key locations, escort criminals, and even hunt down fugitives. The Ministry saw them as useful tools, rewarding them with the one thing they craved: human emotions. For decades, Dementors remained loyal to the Ministry. But when Voldemort returned, everything changed. He promised them something the Ministry never could: absolute freedom. No more restrictions, no more control. They could feast on human souls without limits. And so Dementors revolted, abandoned Azkaban, and swore allegiance to the Dark Lord. This betrayal allowed the escape of countless Death Eaters, and once Voldemort's influence reached the Ministry, Dementors grew more ruthless, administering the dreaded Dementor's kiss far more often. Only after Voldemort's final defeat were Dementors permanently banished from Azkaban. The Ministry replaced them with auras, ensuring that these soulless creatures would never hold power again. Dementors are nearly unstoppable. They consume every positive emotion, forcing their victims to relive their worst memories. Just being near them plunges people into darkness. When Dementors infest an area, despair follows. Their most feared attack, the Dementor's kiss, strips a person of their very soul, leaving behind only a lifeless shell. And the most terrifying truth? There is no known way to destroy them. Wizards can repel them with a Patronus, but complete eradication seems impossible. These creatures remain one of the greatest horrors of the Harry Potter universe, terrifying, relentless, and perhaps truly immortal. Have you ever wondered if Dementors have a will of their own? What if they weren't just soulless creatures, but something far more sinister, with motives beyond human understanding? In today's video, you'll discover the deeper mysteries of Dementors, their secret ties to dark magic, and the chilling truth behind their existence. Dementors are not like other magical beings. They don't communicate in words. They have no recorded language, no culture, no sign of individual thought. Yet they move with eerie coordination, responding to commands as if they understand more than they let on. Some wizards believe they are mindless, acting only on hunger. Others aren't so sure. Could creatures this powerful really be nothing more than instinct-driven monsters? Dark wizards have long speculated that Dementors were not naturally occurring, but created through forbidden magic. The fact that they grow in places of decay suggests they are tied to dark energy, feeding off despair to multiply. Some even believe that the first Dementor was not born but summoned, a byproduct of a spell gone horribly wrong. The name most often whispered in these theories is Ekrzdis, the mad sorcerer of Azkaban. Ekrzdis practiced magic so vile that even dark wizards shuddered at the rumors. He vanished from history, leaving behind only his fortress and the creatures that roamed its halls. Some say he didn't just summon Dementors, he became one. It's an unsettling theory, but if true, it would mean that Dementors are not just monsters. They are cursed beings transformed by magic so dark it stripped away everything human. The Ministry has never confirmed or denied these theories. They have never tried to study Dementors or understand their origins. Instead, they controlled them, used them, and when they finally turned against the Ministry, simply cast them out. But where did they go? After Voldemort's defeat, Dementors were banished from Azkaban, but they were never destroyed. They retreated into the shadows, vanishing into the darkest corners of the world. Some believe they still roam the ruins of Azkaban, waiting for the right moment to return. Others claim they spread across the wizarding world, seeking new places of suffering to feed on. The most terrifying possibility? That they were never truly controlled at all, that they allowed the Ministry to believe they were obedient, all while quietly growing stronger. Dementors are drawn to pain. Wherever there is suffering, they will come. But what if they don't just seek pain? What if they create it? It has been observed that prolonged exposure to Dementors can drive a person to madness, breaking their mind until they are incapable of feeling joy. Could it be that Dementors feed not just on existing emotions, but on emotions they themselves generate? If so, their power is far greater than anyone ever realized. The Patronus charm is the only known defense against Dementors. But why does it work? The spell summons a creature of pure positive energy, something Dementors cannot tolerate. But the question remains, why can't they feed on the happiness a Patronus radiates? If they can absorb joy from humans, why does a Patronus repel them completely? Some theorists suggest that Dementors can only consume emotions tied to the soul. A Patronus, being a conjured form of magic, has no soul for them to drain. This would imply that Dementors don't just feed on feelings, they feed on the essence of life itself. This idea becomes even more disturbing when considering the Dementor's kiss. The process by which they remove a soul is not fully understood. Some believe they consume it, others think they imprison it, trapping it somewhere beyond the veil of life and death. If that's true, where do these souls go? Are they destroyed? Are they trapped inside the Dementor itself? Could this explain why Dementors seem to grow stronger the more they feed? No wizard has ever survived without a soul. Those who experience the Dementor's kiss are left in a state worse than death. But what if the soul isn't entirely gone? There have been stories, unconfirmed whispers, of those who have encountered kissed victims and felt a presence, something lingering beneath the surface. Could it be possible that the soul remains, trapped in silence, aware but unable to escape? If Dementors are capable of holding on to the souls they consume, the implications are horrifying. How many souls have they taken over the centuries? Could this be the reason they seem to increase in number? A terrifying thought arises. What if every Dementor was once a person? A wizard who suffered the kiss and became something else? Some believe that Dementors are drawn to dark magic, not just because they feed on pain, but because they recognize something familiar in it. Could they be seeking something? A way to restore what was lost? Or worse, could they be looking for a way to create more of their own kind? The Ministry of Magic has always treated Dementors as tools, but what if they are something far more dangerous? If they have motives beyond hunger, if they are capable of planning, then what happened after their banishment? Where did they go, and what are they waiting for? Legends tell of places where Dementors still linger, forgotten ruins, cursed lands where no wizard dares to go. Some say they are drawn to battlefields where the echoes of suffering still linger. Others claim they roam the darkest corners of the wizarding world, preying on those who stray too far from safety. The question no one dares to ask: can Dementors ever truly be stopped? If they are not living beings but manifestations of darkness itself, then destroying them may be impossible. They may always return, growing wherever fear and despair take root. Perhaps the scariest truth of all is this: Dementors are not a creation of Voldemort or the Ministry. They have existed for centuries. They will exist for centuries more. They are drawn to suffering, and as